How are you, Primary 5? Today we have a story session. We will start with chapter 5, the shipwreck. Again, guys, can you remember what I mean by the shipwreck? The shipwreck means a broken ship that can't travel anymore because it was damaged and can't travel. Okay, so let's start with revising some questions from the last session. First of all, what was William Darling wearing? William Darling, he was wearing his big coat and heavy boots. Number 2, why couldn't Grace hear her father while they are tying the boat, as you know? Because the noise of the wind and sea was too loud, too terrible, so she couldn't hear him. Number 3, what did Grace do to help her father? Grace helped her father to tie the boat down to the rock and tied the oars too. Number 4, what time did the wild wind scream and shake the glass? It was about 3:30 in the morning. The last one I have, describe Grace's room. It was a small tidy room with white walls. Okay. Let's know what happened in the sport, but before it, let's revise what happened in the last session. Grace went with her father to tie the boat down to the rock, not to lose it, because the storm was terrible. They tied it and carried their other things to the kitchen. They can't leave it out in that night. Then Grace went upstairs to the room with the big windows that has no walls. This happened at 3:30 in the morning. We will know what happened after this, but first let's move back to our Forfarshire ship to know what's happening there. As you can see from the picture, I think something bad or terrible happened to the ship. We will know. Follow me. Okay, we will start with some new words first. I have the first one. I'll say it again. Shipwreck. Shipwreck. Shipwreck, it's a broken ship that can't travel anymore. Then I have close. Close. I want to take close as an adjective. When two people or things are near to each other, we say they are close. Close. So if you are sitting near your friend, you are close to your friend. Okay? So here this is close. I have also wrong. Wrong. If I said your answer is wrong, this means it isn't right. Okay. Let's move to our Forfarshire ship to know what happened. In the passenger's sitting room. Now we are in the passenger's sitting room. Mrs. Dawson was Mr. Daniel Donovan. They were so frightened. She asked him a lot of questions, like, do you think we are going to die, Mr. Daniel? Can we do anything without the engines? Guys, what do you think Mr. Daniel will answer? Do you think he will say to her, no, Mrs. Dawson, everything is okay, everything is okay, or not? Try to think, guys, is everything okay really? Mr. Daniel said that there were some islands south of here. He said that, of course, we are in a problem, but there were some islands south of here called the Farne Islands. So the islands near them called the Farne Islands. He had seen the lighthouse flashing on them. Daniel went out to see how near the lighthouse was. He went out into the night. He stared into the dark. He could see nothing to the west. Oh my God, where is the lighthouse? Suddenly he fell on the wet deck and caught the side of the ship with his hands. Then he looked up and a light flashed in his eyes. Thanks God, so this is the lighthouse. There it was, the lighthouse. only 300 meters away to the north. Daniel Donovan shouted, "We are too close, much too close. I must tell the captain." And he ran to tell the captain of the ship. But in this time, a great mountain of white water flew into the sky. It was 10 or 20 meters above the ship. Can you imagine, guy? A wave about 10 or 20 meters above the ship. Then Daniel screamed. It was a shock. Rocks! Rocks! There are rocks in front of us, rocks all around. Captain, Captain. So, guys, this is the worst thing. Rocks. Can you remember Grace when she said that the rocks will wreck any ship that come near them? And our Forfarshire now is near the rocks. The captain was already saw the rocks, and he was shouting at the sailors, and the ship was turning to the west, away from the light. So this is something bad. We aren't near the light now, but we are far from the light, turning to the west. But it was too late. There was a great crash, then another crash, and another. This is something very bad. Can you imagine, guys? The waves lifted the Forfarshire, the whole ship, the great modern ship, and threw it onto the rock like a child playing with a toy. So it's something that I can't imagine. Our great ship can be lifted and thrown onto the rock like a child playing with a simple toy. Yeah, so it's something really bad. And this time Daniel held onto a rope and stared into the dark. People in this time were running out onto the deck and screaming. I want you guys to imagine, how do these people feel in this time? Of course, they are feeling afraid, they are feeling sad, they are feeling a lot of bad feelings. In this time, a big wave hit the ship, and water fell on Daniel like stones. He opened his eyes and looked back at the ship, but there was nothing there. What do you mean, miss? There was nothing there? Yes, guys, there was nothing there. There was no ship, guys. Nothing but waves. The ship was broken in two parts. In the back of the ship, with the captain and the rich passengers, wasn't there. Okay, there's just one half of the ship. Then a voice shouted into the wind, "Help us! Save us from the sea!" The door of the passenger's room was broken, but some people still inside it. Who are these people? Mr. Rob, Mrs. Dawson, and her two children, Mr. Buchanan and Mr. James Kelly. Daniel went carefully back along the deck to the broken door. He put out his hand to touch the door, and then a wall of white water hit the ship, and he could see nothing. Now, guys, do you think Mr. Daniel will be able to help the people in the broken door? Do you think this is what we will know? And guys, do you think after that all these people will still alive, or what will happen to them on the rock now? Try to prepare your answers, and we will know this in the next term. And this is all for our story. Until now, we will continue later. Now, We have some questions to practice. You will read page 21 and 23 carefully in order to answer these questions. Thank you guys. We have finished our story in this term and see you next term. Thank you all.